2025 is here, and with it comes some game-changing rules for travelers. Miss these updates and you could find yourself stranded, stressed, or worse, turned away at the gate. But here's the good news. If you're prepared, you'll breeze through these changes like a pro. So buckle up, because today we're breaking down the 5 biggest travel rule updates of 2025, and trust me, you'll want to stick around for the last one. Imagine this, you're at the airport, bags packed, boarding pass in hand, ready for your long-awaited trip, but then at security, they stop you. Your ID isn't real enough, and suddenly your dream vacation turns into a nightmare. Did you know millions of Americans could be turned away at airports starting this May? I'm talking about flights missed, money wasted, and vacations ruined, all because of one small detail most travelers overlook. But don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do to avoid the chaos. Let's rewind a bit. In 2005, Congress passed the Real ID Act, a response to the growing need for secure identification after 9/11. It's been years in the making, but now it's here. Starting May 7th, 2025, if you're over 18 and flying domestically in the US, you'll need more than just any old driver's license. But here's the catch. About 20% of Americans still don't have a real ID, and some don't even know they need one. That's 1 in 5 travelers who could show up at the airport only to be turned away. That could be you, your family, or someone you know. Here's where things get tricky. You might think, oh, I've got a license, I'm fine. But then you realize your ID doesn't have that tiny star in the top right corner, a star that now separates the travelers who board their flights from those stuck watching their plane take off without them. And if you think it's just a suggestion, think again. TSA won't let you through security without it or an acceptable alternative like a passport. It's not about the rules anymore, it's about whether you're ready to follow them. Picture the moment. You're standing at the checkpoint, lines snaking around the terminal, and you realize you're not getting on that flight. Panic sets in. The trip you planned for months, gone. The money you saved, wasted. And the worst part, you could have avoided all of it with just a little preparation. But don't panic just yet. You're here now, and that means you're ahead of the curve. Let's fix this before it becomes a problem. So what's the plan? First, check your driver's license or state ID. Does it have that star in the top right corner? If yes, congratulations, you're ready. If not, it's time to upgrade. Here's what you'll need to bring to your local DMV. Number 1, proof of identity, like a passport or birth certificate. 2, your social security number. 3, 2 documents showing your address, like a utility bill or bank statement. Once you've got these, schedule your appointment early. DMVs will be swamped as the deadline gets closer. The sooner you act, the less stress you'll face. Now, let me ask you this. Can you imagine the regret of standing at the airport, knowing you could have avoided it all with a simple trip to the DMV? Don't let procrastination ruin your plans. Act now, and future you will thank you. So you've got your real ID situation sorted, right? Great. But before you exhale in relief, let me warn you. That's just the first hurdle. Because while the US is tightening its domestic rules, Europe has its own curveball to throw at travelers in 2025. Starting mid-2025, Europe's Schengen zone is rolling out something called ETIAS, short for the European Travel Information and Authorization System. This isn't a visa, but it's not optional either. Think of it as Europe's RSVP list. Without it, you're not just late to the party, you're not getting in. Here's the kicker. ETIAS applies to travelers from visa-free countries like the US, Canada, Australia, basically anyone who's had the luxury of skipping lengthy visa applications. In other words, it affects millions of people, including you. And just like the Real ID, this is one of those things you don't want to figure out at the last minute. Sure, it sounds simple. All you have to do is fill out an online form, pay a small €7 fee, and voila, approval comes within minutes, right? But then reality kicks in. What if your application gets flagged for additional review? What if you enter your passport details wrong? What if you wait until the week of your trip to apply and face delays? Picture this, you're at the airport check-in counter, the line behind you is growing, and you're frantically trying to figure out why you can't board your flight. Turns out you forgot about ETIA, and now your dream trip to Europe is over before it even starts. But don't worry, this isn't where the story ends, because if you know what to do and when to do it, you can avoid this entire mess. In fact, getting ETIAS approved is as simple as making a cup of coffee, if you start early enough. Here's how to make sure ETIAS doesn't ruin your trip. Number 1, head to the official ETIAS website. Bookmark it now to avoid scams. 2, fill out the online form. You'll need your passport info, travel plans, and answers to a few basic questions about your trip. 3, pay the €7 fee. If you're under 18 or over 70, lucky you, it's free. 4, wait for approval. Most applications are approved within minutes, but here's the golden rule. Apply at least 7 to 10 days before your trip. Trust me, you'll thank yourself later. And the best part, once you're approved, ETIAS is valid for 3 years or until your passport expires, whichever comes first. That means if you're planning multiple trips to Europe, you only have to do this once every few years. Have questions about ETIAS? Drop them in the comments. I'm here to help. And if you're planning a European trip in 2025, let me know where you're headed. All right, so you've got your real ID for domestic travel sorted, you've nailed the ETIAS process for your European trips, you're feeling pretty unstoppable now, right? But hold on, what if I told you there's another curveball waiting to trip up your travel plans? One that could cost you your entire itinerary if you're not careful. For most European countries, your passport must be valid for at least 3 months beyond your return date. In some cases, like for countries outside the Schengen zone, it's 6 months. And no, this isn't just fine print. This can and will stop you from boarding your flight. Or you might think, my passport's still good for another year, I'm fine. But then you realize your trip to Europe is in July and your passport expires in November. That's enough to get you grounded. Or picture this, you've double-checked your ETIAS, triple-checked your real ID, but missed this one tiny detail about passport validity. You're standing at the gate helpless while your dream vacation takes off without you. Here's the good news. This problem is 100% avoidable. All you need is a little forward planning. Check your passport expiration date right now. Seriously, pause this video if you need to. If your passport expires within the next 12 months, renew it. Don't wait. Passport renewal delays are a real thing, and peak travel seasons only make it worse. Double check entry requirements for your destination country. A quick online search could save you a world of trouble. And here's a pro tip. Even if your passport technically meets the minimum validity requirements, renewing it early gives you peace of mind. Plus, it's one less thing to stress over when planning your trip. So what's next? Stick around, because we're diving into one of the sneakiest pitfalls most travelers never see coming. Let me ask you this. How would you feel if everything you packed, your clothes, your essentials, your carefully chosen souvenirs, vanished into thin air? Sounds like a disaster, doesn't it? But what if I told you that in 2025, there's a way to make sure you never lose your luggage again? In 2025, airlines are handling record high passenger numbers, which means more flights, more connections, and yes, more opportunities for bags to get misplaced. According to industry reports, over 25 million bags go missing every year. That's roughly 1 bag every second. Most of these bags eventually turn up, but by then you're already halfway through your vacation, wearing the same outfit and buying overpriced replacements. It's not just inconvenient, it's downright stressful. But here's the thing, lost luggage isn't always the airline's fault. It can happen when your flight is delayed, when you're rushing through tight layovers, or even because of tagging errors during check-in. And the most frustrating part? That helpless feeling of wondering where your bag is with no clear answers. You're at your dream destination, but instead of exploring, you're on hold with customer service, filing reports, and spending money you hadn't budgeted. That's not a vacation, that's a nightmare. But not anymore, because in 2025, luggage tracking technology has leveled up. Here's how you can take control. Number 1, smart tags. Invest in GPS-enabled luggage tags like AirTags or Tile. These little devices let you track your bag's location in real time, right from your phone. 2, digital bag tags. Some airlines now offer permanent digital tags synced with your booking. No more paper tags that can rip off mid-journey. 3, carry-on savvy. Pack a few essentials in your carry-on, enough to get you through the first 48 hours of your trip, just in case. 4, insurance backup. Travel insurance isn't just for medical emergencies. Most policies now cover delayed or lost luggage, reimbursing you for replacement items. Lost luggage? That's yesterday's problem. But what about a mistake that could cost you your spot on the plane? Stick around, because next we're uncovering the travel rules you can't afford to break. So tell me, what's your worst lost luggage story? Drop it in the comments and let's see who's had the wildest travel mishap. Cancellations have always been a traveler's worst nightmare. But in 2025, it's not just about the inconvenience, it's about the ripple effects, misconnections, lost reservations, and the uncertainty of when or if you'll get to your destination. Did you know that last year alone, over 200,000 flights were canceled globally? That's thousands of plans ruined in an instant. Things are changing. Airlines now face stricter regulations and passengers are more empowered than ever. Refunds? Faster. Rebookings? Smarter. Compensation? Within reach, if you know your rights. So the real question is, are you prepared to take control of your journey? In 2025, staying ahead means knowing the rules. Number 1, know your rights. EU 261 or US DOT rules can get you compensation for delays and cancellations. 2, travel apps. Tools like FlightAware and Hopper keep you updated in real time. 3, proactive rebooking. Airlines now offer automated rebooking directly in their apps, often before the announcement even finishes. Flight cancellations don't have to ground your spirit. Stay informed, stay prepared, and remember, every canceled flight is just a detour, not a dead end. Have you ever dealt with a cancellation nightmare? Share your story below. Traveling in 2025 doesn't have to be stressful as long as you're prepared. These new rules might sound overwhelming, but with a little planning, you'll be ahead of the game. Now that you know what's coming, are you ready for your next adventure?